Look at you. You got a whole run of show over there.
I do have a whole run of show. That's what happens when I plan the podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hardly Working. It's the show about life, love, and labor, hosted by the couple that works, plays, and stays together. It's been a long time since I've done the intro, but I am SP.
And I am Kelly. And it's good to see me, isn't it?
Wow, good to be seen.
Right? And today I planned most of the podcast.
This is weird.
So it's going to be a surprise, but not because it's all in line with what we normally do.
Out of the 100 plus episodes we've done, Kelly has never done this much for the show. Honestly, let me just say, she did it because she was like out of the kindness of her heart.
You've been working real hard.
There's so much going on right now that Kelly's like, I got this. Not all of it, because I got stuff too.
You're better at the parts that I didn't grab, which are just the stories.
That's it. Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
I got other stuff.
You're good at a lot of stuff, but like that part is hard. And especially because today is the first episode we'll have after the inauguration. Most of the articles I saw were all politically based. And I was like, this isn't
it's tricky.
What we talk about on our podcast.
Yeah, if you're new here or if you've been here for a long time, you know that we don't tend to talk about politics. And today will not be an exception to that. That's what we usually talk about on our other show, Hardly Working Through It. More on that later as I figure that out. But it has been an interesting week, and Kelly definitely picked up a lot of slack on the show. As we jump in, I want to say hello and welcome to everyone who's new and came over from TikTok and Instagram. Thank you to the 40,000+ people that are our new friends on TikTok. We're excited to have you here. Truly, we talked about it on our last episode. How great was Hudson, by the way?
Amazing. So fun to talk with Hudson. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, I wish we had more time to hang out, but we had to keep running because things were so busy. But like, I hope you guys got a lot out of that episode in terms of working through big feelings in the midst of all this stuff. But I wanted to say, we hit it last week a little bit, but thank you to the people all around the world, truly all around the world. And if you're from New Zealand, which I know a lot of you are, I've got some questions later on in the episode. So Stay tuned for that. But thank you for everyone who's listening and been encouraging. Yeah. Thank you to everyone who's been reaching out, literally the hundreds of people reaching out via DM or email. In fact, you mind if I kick off the show with a little email that came through?
Yeah. He's taking control.
I can't.
He can't stop. I'm like waiting for a moment so I could be like, man, it's been a crazy week, hasn't it? We haven't even gotten there yet because we're jumping right in.
'Tis the nature of our relation.
He can't turn off hosting. It's what it really is.
Hey, you can always reach out to us on our socials on TikTok and Instagram at It's Hardly Working, or you can email us at hardlyworkingfans@gmail.com. You could be like one of the many, many people who did that, but there's just one I want to highlight from this week, and it's from Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. It says this: hello, SP and Kelly. I found y'all thanks to SP's California Fire updates. My OCD has me starting from scratch. Season 1,
Woo-woo!
Episode 1. I just finished episode 2. There's been like 100 and some odd of these. That's a lot to get through. That's a big backlog. I just finished episode 2, and all I have to say is I Googled the Texas woman Snake Hawk story. Oh my gosh. Why did I do that? I see why you didn't include that photo in the podcast.
Yeah.
We've gone through some weird stories. This was a woman in Texas like mowing her lawn on one of those like driving mowers, and a snake fell from the sky, landed on her, wrapped itself around her arm. A hawk then came down, attacking the snake. That it was the one who dropped it from the sky, and this poor lady got attacked by a hawk and a snake, all while trying to just mow her lawn. Terrible time.
Happens.
But a wild story. And you've got a lot of those coming up, Crystal. So if you're still going through the backlog, get ready for some weird stuff. Tell me when you get to the city in Italy that has a flood of wine down the streets.
Or the cheese wheel.
Or the cheesemonger who died under the weight of his own cheese wheel. Oh, and she also says, yeah, also American cheese is definitely trash.
Yeah.
One of our thousands of unpopular opinions we've gone through. Unless you put it underneath a hot dog with chili on top of it, then it's pretty good. Anyway, she goes on to say, I may have converted my husband too. One day I'll send pictures of the Lego cabinet in my home.
Yes, please.
Insert bulging eye emoji here. So hearing Kelly talk about Legos reminds me of home. Y'all are just a comfort I need right now in my life. So I'm thankful that these things brought me to your podcast. Love, Crystal.
Thanks, Crystal.
She didn't say love, but I'm implying love.
Love, you mean it by.
Thank
but
you.
Not yet.
Boy, oh boy. It's like we're talking to you from the future. from the future. Things don't get any less weird in the future. Stay in season 1.
No, keep going. It gets better. It gets good. It is good. I don't know.
So fun. See, I had to inject myself here because I know you've got so much info. In fact, every week after we catch up on our week, which y'all know about because it's been mostly just fires, so we don't have anything to catch up on there.
That is not true.
What? Do we have like a birthday for our kid or something?
Yes. Our kid turned 10.
Yeah, that was nuts. And thank you for everybody who reached out and said happy birthday.
There's even bigger news than that.
What?
I went to Erewhon for the first time this week.
That is what happened. That's why we have $0
That
now.
is why. No, I went to Erewhon for the first time this week, and I finished finally seeing, I didn't meet him, but seeing the trifecta of Vampire Diaries main characters.
What?
Not all of them, but if you go with the trifecta, Damon, his name is Paul Wesley, but Damon, Stefan, and Elena.
Totally names that I know.
You wouldn't know them. Nina Dobrev, Ian Somerhalder, and Paul Wesley. I've now seen them / met them all. Look at me go. He was checking out with his dog. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I've seen them all now.
What you don't know about Kelly is she has one of those like lottery scratcher type posters, and it's just Vampire
bingo
Diaries.
card, actually.
So as she meets them, she scratches the thing off, and it shows you the person.
I don't, but I was a huge Vampire Diaries fan, and it was the craziest thing to see there. I also saw Val Chemesky from the Vampire Diaries. Who am I? From Dancing with the Stars, who I've also met Jenna.
Already, yeah.
So it was
you
crazy.
met him too, didn't you?
No, he was not at the wedding.
Oh.
I know. We live a weird life, but it was a crazy thing to be in this Erewhon for the very first time and be like, oh, that's a famous person. Oh, that's a famous person. Oh, that's a famous person. I'm just like, here.
Dang.
Ordering $18 Kung Pao chicken.
Which?
Why? Was really good. But I was like, I would never. No sides, no rice, just straight chicken.
I did get the leftovers, and I'm not going to lie. It was really delicious.
$18 worth, though?
Probably
no.
not. Yeah, when you have to weigh your food to see how much it's going to be.
Well,
it's a little
this
weird.
is a completely side note because Brooklyn's birthday was way bigger than this, but it was my first time at Erewhon, and my friend Danielle wanted to take me, and so she took me, and she tried to give me a warning because the guy was like, oh, do you want like a plate? And she was like, just so you know, like plates are like $20. You get like 2 sides and that. And I was like, well, like, I'm not that hungry. Like, I definitely don't want to spend $20 on just like a meal. She's 20 something. And then it was $18 for my Kung Pao chicken only. I was like, I should have gotten the meal, I guess. I don't know.
Should have gone to Jared.
I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird experience. I also almost got a smoothie, but that was $20 for a smoothie. And that's the principle of the matter for me. I can't say I'm going to spend $20 on a smoothie that I can make at home.
100%.
I can't do it.
And that's why I married you, because of your frugality, your frugalness, your frugitude.
Yeah.
You know what?
Have you seen all the things I bought for Brooklyn's birthday party?
Yeah, I guess it only has to do with smoothies. So
Not just that. It's just, it comes out sometimes. Anyway, that happened. The inauguration happened. Brooklyn's birthday. TikTok was banned. And then it came back.
Yeah, we'll talk about
for
that
75
later.
more days at least.
Well, yes. That's not the only thing that got banned recently.
It's a
We'll
lot of
talk about
stuff.
that
Will
in
we-
the stories. Will we what? Talk about it?
It's been a weird week, y'all.
It has been a weird week. But what we do have is a little bit of consistency right here for like 60 plus minutes of comforty goodness.
Yeah, and I'm not going to share any of my thoughts about anything. I'm going to save that for Harley working through it because I have lots of thoughts. And I do have a topic for the next one.
I can't wait. But until then, why don't you tell us what happened today?
Is that where we're at? You don't want to talk about Brooklyn's birthday? You don't want to talk about anything that we did for her? Nothing? You're just like, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I read my email. I'm done. All right. Since you've said it, we're on to that happened today. You're supposed to jump in and
sorry.
say it with me.
I thought you were in charge.
That happened today. I always jump in with you.
I've never been the co-host. I'm just learning.
You've got to learn. So the day we're looking at in question, January 22nd.
I did know that this week. Apologies for last week.
2025.
When I didn't know what day it was.
Here's what I don't know I don't know how you do this, but we're going to start off. In 1970, is that how you do that?
Sure.
Did you know? Is that how you do it?
Sure.
In 1970, today, on this date, January 22nd,
you're killing it.
In 1970, Pan Am's first flight ever
Really?
took off from New York to London.
New York to London.
Yeah.
Across the pond.
Across
That's
the
a big
pond.
risk. They're
It
like
was a Boeing 77 or something like that, like that first type.
747?
I don't know.
Maybe? That wasn't the first like commercial flight though, was it?
No, just the first Pan Am first flight. Pan Am's first flight.
Pan Am first flight. Wow.
In 1978.
Pan Am, Pan America, no longer around. But
I
you
know.
can see it in things like, what was the movie? Is it Catch Me If You Can with
Oh, yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks? I believe.
And
that was
Anna
part of it.
Kendrick, is she not in that?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's a different flight attendant movie. I take it back.
Yeah, I think that's Up in the Air.
I don't know. I think George Clooney might also be up in that one, so I don't really know.
George Clooney's not in the first one. This
He's
is
not?
Tom Hanks.
Isn't that what you said?
Tom Hanks.
I don't know.
Look, they flew from New York to London. Can you
knows?
believe that?
Can you
Now we
believe
do it
that?
all the time.
Gosh. In 1901, Queen Victoria died at 81 after 63 years of her reign.
Oh,
Rest in peace. Gosh, I don't know if I'm doing this well or not. You have to tell me. In 1943, January 22nd, 1943, this is a crazy one. Truly, this could be a crazy story that we looked into, but we didn't.
what year is it?
In
43?
1943,
Okay.
in Spearfish, South Dakota,
It's one of my favorite vacation destinations.
they recorded the fastest temperature change. So it increased from -4 degrees Fahrenheit to plus 45 degrees Fahrenheit in 2 minutes.
So like 90-degree temperature change.
Isn't that crazy?
That's how fast the temperature changes in our shower.
It's not quite 90. You went from -4 to 45.
Oh, -4. I think you said -40.
No, -4.
To 40. So almost a 50-degree change.
Yeah, but that's like in the whole city of Spearfish. Like it happened that quickly. I'm like, that's crazy. That's so in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes?
Yeah, that's so fast.
Dang.
Think about how long it takes in the morning for it to go from like 61 degrees to 70. It normally takes hours.
Yeah, and that's hot.
Isn't
for
that
us.
crazy?
That is crazy.
I was like, I don't know why I did that. This is one you might know. On January 22nd, do you know of somebody who, rest in peace, named Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name, but
this is
not his
when
work.
he scored his 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors. Mhm.
Dang, yes. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest of all time. Right up there with Michael Jordan and LeBron James, although he came before LeBron. You know what I mean.
All right, now we'll get into some deaths. Sorry. 2008, January 22nd, 2008, one of the faves, Heath Ledger. Oh, sorry.
Is it Heath Ledger?
It is. He died from an
I
accidental
remember
prescription
where
overdose.
I was when this happened.
Where were you?
Look at me contributing.
Finally.
I was in college. I was in a cafeteria, and they have like televisions up on the walls in certain places, and we saw it on the news, and it was like, yeah, he died because like the role was so torturous, and what an artist. And I'm not making a comment on whether or not that's true. It was just so sad. And we remember it may have even been before the movie came out. I can't remember, but everyone was like, it was the role, like the role killed him essentially.
But he did an amazing job.
Yeah, and I mean, insane. I'm sure everyone's seen The Dark Knight at this point, but seeing him as the Joker, great. Also, A Knight's Tale,
amazing too.
never saw it, but heard it's good.
I did.
Also, 10 Things I Hate About You. What was the end? What was like the rom-com type
That was
thing?
it. He was
10
also
Things I Hate About You?
or Brokeback Mountain, whatever one you want.
Yes. You know
That
what?
could be the rom-com.
I just can't quit
That
you,
was the
Cal.
role of a century, of a lifetime. Brokeback Mountain was very forward.
Have you seen that movie?
I have not. I was too young to see it.
I was too young and too involved in the church at the time.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, no.
But I'm pretty sure it was Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger.
It was. We should check it out.
Anyway, so he died from an accidental overdose. And then in 1973, January 22nd, 1973, Lyndon B. Johnson. Do you know who that is?
President.
There you go. He's our
former president.
Our 36th president of the United States. He died as well.
In what year?
1973.
1973.
The same year that the Supreme Court ruled that abortion is constitutional.
I remembered. I was like, sounds familiar.
It
Same
does.
day?
Same day.
Wow. A lot happened in the 70s.
Same
70s,
day.
70s were a weird time. What decade from the 60s till now, if you could go back in time and live, where would you go?
They're all bad. Probably the 90s.
They're all bad? I think the 90s is fun.
I think
That's pre-internet,
I think
which
we've
is kind
come
of
back
nice.
around a little bit to like the 60s and 70s. And so I'm just, or at least politically speaking. So I'm just like,
60s and 70s was a great time for music. And
Yeah.
like there was definitely a lot of cool things about
for
it.
sure.
But
Can I wear the cool clothes? Because then I'll go back.
Yeah. Like
to the
that show we
70s.
did in May. We got to get all discoed out.
Yeah, exactly. I could do that.
I don't think I'd ever go to the 80s though. I was alive in the 80s, but everyone who like grew up in the 80s is so like, oh my God, the 80s, it's so great. I just don't have that bone in my body.
That's okay.
Do you?
No, I don't really have any. I was born in 91, so I don't really care about the 80s. All I know is known for its big hair. But nothing really big happened in the 80s. And maybe they did, but all of it is like either very close to the 90s or coming out of the 70s.
You know what? I could see why you'd say that. Yeah, they had big hair. I always think of those aerobicized outfits. You know, like the full leotard kind of bathing suit look with the leg warmers.
Yeah. That's true. Jane Fonda, was she in there?
Probably.
Yeah, here I will be remiss if I didn't say this though. The best thing that came out of the 80s, besides you,
Don't say Taylor Swift.
was my parents.
Your parents were born in the 80s?
No, they got married in the 80s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And without them, there's no me.
Thanks, January 22nd.
They didn't get married on January 22nd.
Thanks.
But I do have some
Other
births.
date.
Since we're talking about deaths, we talked about a bunch of other stuff. I had to get some births of people that were born on January 22nd.
Hit me
some
with
of
the
which
birthdays.
all of which you may know. So let's start. In 1965, Jazzy Jeff was born.
Hey, I've met him. I've worked with him a few times.
Yeah, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. For those of you who don't know, he plays Will Smith's best friend on that show.
Was his best friend in real life.
Yep.
Yeah. DJ Jazzy Jeff.
DJ Jazzy Jeff was born. In 1981, Beverly Mitchell was born, who played Lucy Camden
Lucy Camden.
on Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven.
You never saw it, did you?
3 for 3. I
was
don't
a
know
big one.
any of that. I am aware that Seventh Heaven was a show, and I think the dad on that show turned out to be a bad person.
Yes, that
in real
is
life.
true, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
The next two you'll definitely know. Well, you'll know after I tell you, but the first one you will. Guy Fieri
Hey, my spiritual mentor.
was born in 1968. You've met him too. He's pretty cool.
We worked with him
Yeah.
This summer.
He was born in 1968 on January 22nd.
I kid you not. If you like anything about me, you have Jim Carrey and Guy Fieri to thank. Hey,
Yeah.
that's a good way to say
Jim
that.
Carrey and Guy Fieri.
In a little Ryan Seacrest.
Maybe. And last but not least, on my list of things, at least today, in 1972, Gabriel Macht was born.
Oh, Gabriel Macht?
I think that's how you say his last name. Do you know who that is?
I'm assuming he's the man who invented matcha tea.
No, he plays Harvey Specter on my new favorite TV show, Suits.
What is his name?
Gabriel Macht.
Is he the hot brooding boss? Not the
Yes.
boss, but he's not the nice guy.
No.
Oh yeah, he should play Batman. We were talking
Right?
about the Joker earlier.
I know.
He should play Batman.
Listen, and since we're talking about it, thank you for asking. Yes, I am into the middle of season 3 of Suits. Yes, I did start during the fires. And yes, I do have a problem watching TV. It is my escapism or my
Yes.
escapeness. It's my escape. What is that called?
I don't know. I like that your second option
know.
though was worse than the first.
It was. I don't know. It's the way that I escape from all the craziness in the world. I watch TV shows, and believe it or not, I've never watched Suits. This last couple of years have been the years of me watching TV shows I've never watched, like Game of Thrones. Never watched it. Finally started watching it last year. Didn't finish it. Was told I shouldn't.
Where did you stop? Season 7?
Season 7, episode 1. I watched it, and then I haven't watched anything else. But I do love Daenerys Targaryen, Emilia Clarke, and Jon Snow.
Yeah, it's really weird because Kelly and I spend almost every waking second together.
That's true.
Which is odd in general.
But sometimes those seconds are shared with, I don't know, Harvey Specter,
Yeah. Ooh, sounds sexy
Mike
when
Ross,
you say it. Okay.
Rachel
wow.
Zane,
Now we're
Jessica
talking.
Pearson,
Maybe.
Louis Litt. Anyone?
Okay. That's a lot of characters.
I could keep going.
But Kelly somehow finds the time to still watch seasons worth of television.
Yeah, I have a problem.
Let me
but
just
not
put it
really.
out there. Since there are a lot of new people listening recently, if there's an old TV show that you love, either hit us up on email at Hardly Working Fans.
Or send us a message.
Yeah, on TikTok and Instagram at It's Hardly Working, because chances are if it's good, Kelly will probably watch it.
Or I've already seen it. But yeah, I would. I love procedurals.
Yeah.
I've watched all of Bones, CSI. I should probably rewatch that. I haven't watched that in a long time. But Bones, what else? Castle.
Castle was big for you.
I saw Criminal Minds too intense for me.
Yeah,
And
Gilmore
this part
Girls
of my
is a
life,
go-to.
Gilmore Girls. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. My Life with the Walter Boys. What's that new one? Geek Girl. Those are all newer ones.
You've watched whole seasons of shows that I haven't even heard of.
I know.
I don't know what My Life with Walter is.
My Life with the Walter Boys. The last name is Walter.
My point exactly.
Wednesday. It's coming back out. Thank God.
Oh yeah, that one I have
Bridgerton.
heard of. I know that one.
I mean, now I'm just naming TV shows that I like. But send me the old ones because there are some, like I said, I hadn't even seen Game of Thrones and I literally just watched it. No, I have not watched House of the Dragon, but I didn't finish Game of Thrones. And I do love Matt Smith, but I haven't gone there yet.
I will
Okay?
say this. Your comfort show is Bones. I can't
Yeah.
even guess how many times you watch all that.
A million.
Your favorite show currently has got to be Bridgerton in terms of shows that are ongoing.
Yeah. I'm a huge Bridgerton fan for sure.
Not just the shows, but all 20 plus of the books that you've read.
Yeah, I've read them all. But yeah, I would say Bridgerton and like ongoing currently right now, Bridgerton and I guess I said it, but I'm like all about my life with the Walter Boys right now.
And that new detective show with
Ooh, High Potential.
Yeah.
I do like that show a lot too. That was good. Watched all of that already.
That's been your weekly television update from Kellie.
I know, but give me more because I apparently have more time.
Is that everything that happened on the 22nd?
Yes, thank you, January 22nd. That would be your line.
Yeah, and if I had my moment.
That happened today.
Thanks, January 22nd.
Thanks, January 22nd.
Wow, the roles have reversed.
Yeah, I got to get you some more practice on that side.
You know what's weird is I have chosen to not be like the leader of things in my personal life. But when it comes to like hosting and entertainment,
I know you're like, I am the leader.
I'm like, I know how to do
And
this. It's probably because I don't know how to do anything else.
No, that's not true. But I've also been like, yeah, you are the one who's better at this than me. But I need to get some reps in.
Yeah, girl, and you killed it.
Am I?
High five.
High five.
Am I? Did you kill it? Did I?
Did I?
She did, does, was, were, and forever
Did
will.
I not? Sorry.
That's a little throwback. Well, thanks, January 22nd.
Thanks, January 22nd.
I will say this too. We had been doing this for a while, and then when things got busy, we stopped. But we have brought back the voting for unpopular opinions that we do at the end of every episode. So if you're like, what happened to that? Or who's voting on these? You guys are.
You.
We're posting
But
them
also, we're going to give our thoughts too.
Wouldn't that be awesome if I was like 37% disagreed? Moving on.
No.
We'll talk about them, but you can find those votings. We're going to see if we can keep it going every week on our stories, both on TikTok and Instagram. So we can check that out soon. But you mentioned earlier, there's been quite a few bans lately. There's been one we all know about, the TikTok ban.
But it's back.
Was it? Wasn't it? Will they? Won't they? Ross, Rachel, Edward, Jacob? Who knows? It's back. So did it even need to go away in the first place? Probably not.
For whatever tweaks they did, yeah.
Which only time will tell. But it's still weird.
Yeah, I have a theory though about this that I think that it's a little bit off because it's in the like middle stages. What's that called? It's
Purgatory.
In purgatory a little bit.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like it's technically been banned, but we're just now like pushing the date 75 days.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it's like acting as like the bare minimum.
Yeah, could be.
You
I
know,
have no idea.
I have no idea.
I don't know why tech bazillionaires do what they do. And I never will. But that's not the only thing that got banned this week.
Oh no.
We have an even bigger ban. One that you may feel, nay, see in your life soon.
Tell me.
We have officially banned, not
Red.
me, the FDA.
Red dye.
Number 3.
4. Oh, number 3.
Yeah, well, no, number 4 is cool. Number 4 is totally
Are you sure
fine.
it's not number 4?
Is definitely number 3.
Okay.
And did you ever do that as a kid? Like back before the internet, if you were like sitting somewhere, you just like look at the back of an ingredient box or something.
Yeah.
Be like, what's red dye number 3?
Yeah, so tell me, what's has red dye number 3 in it?
How would you know that I would put that together?
Because I know you, and I would do the same thing.
Yeah, because I'm like, just hearing that doesn't matter to me.
Do you know anything that has red dye number 3 in it?
You're such a good co-host. Look at you. I'm going to take some notes. I do. I looked up or asked to find out the top 10 products in the United States, at least, because that's where the ban is happening.
That's true. I need you to know though that last night, so one of my comfort foods is hot fries, and I know you know that.
Yeah, they're so gross.
And I did look at the back of it. It does have red dye 40 in it, but I was like, thank God. Truly.
Oh, 40?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is they say like,
Which is
don't
terrible.
worry. They're like, don't worry. There's other red dyes, like 40, specifically red dye number 40 that people can use, companies can use.
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like hot fries are that color in the same way that like Black Widows have like a red hourglass on their back.
Yeah.
Like it's there to warn you that you shouldn't be around it.
Yeah, it's probably true. And I eat it when I'm really stressed out.
Which was yesterday.
Yeah.
I tried them last night. Turns out, still gross.
I wish I had them.
If it had some lime on it, which I'm sure there's a version that does.
You do. You
it
have
would be
those
better.
like talkie knockoffs from Trader Joe's that have lime on them.
Yeah, but I'm not a Trader Joe's spokesperson.
Anyways, I just needed to throw that in there because I know you're a Sprouts.
I'm a Sprouts boy, only because they hired me to
pay
be their
you.
spokesperson.
But I said that because I literally was thinking about that. When I looked at the back, I was like, oh my gosh, what's in this? Okay, keep going.
All right.
How is it going to affect me? That's what I want to know. What in the world do I eat that has red dye number 3 in it?
Well, if it's Valentine's Day,
Oh,
you
no.
might be sad because Brock's conversational hearts won't have them.
Are those like the
They're like,
sweethearts?
text me, marry me.
Oh,
You
because
single?
it's probably what's written on.
Oh, it could be. Is it
Do you know
written in
what I mean?
red?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah. If you don't know this, I am horrifically colorblind.
Yeah. Very
I'm
colorful.
gonna ask a lot of color questions. Yeah, so there's seasonal candies. We all know, like the Valentine's Day ones that I said. The vibrant colors are achieved with red dye number 3. Not anymore, at least until 2027, which is the required time in January that everyone has to switch away from it. And they also are reformulate it, and then a year later in 2028 is when they have to have it implemented. So we actually have quite a bit of time.
Is that 4 years?
It would be
3.
So math.
I
Carry
thought
the
we were in
one.
2024 still.
Sometimes
We're in
over.
2025.
Yes. Next up, Betty Crocker red decorating icing.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Totally.
Goodness gracious.
Isn't
How are we going to decorate cookies at Christmas?
Somebody get Betty on the phone
Betty,
and be like,
change it up.
You better give me some red 40. True Moo strawberry milk.
Oh,
Do you know which one that
strawberry
is?
milk.
Oh, yeah. Strawberry milk in general.
Probably.
I'm sure.
Brooklyn likes strawberry milk.
Kroger extra cherry canned fruit cocktail. Boy, that sounds like a poverty
No.
era thing, doesn't it?
I don't need that. Yeah.
Like something from the 20s.
I don't particularly like maraschino cherries.
They're somewhere on this list too.
Yeah,
They're
that-
separate though.
That's a specific red.
Yes, that is the like candy
Grenadine
red.
candy red. Yeah. But I don't particularly like maraschino cherries. Like it's a weird flavor. It's not, it's a cherry, but cherries don't look like that. Newsflash.
Do you eat the stems of those cherries when you eat a maraschino cherry?
No, you psycho.
No?
Who eats the stem?
I don't eat the stem of normal cherries,
It's the same.
but it's been soaked in red dye number 3.
Yeah, I don't eat the stem.
Oh, I don't either. I was just wondering.
Maybe
It was-
try to like tie it into a knot with my tongue. if
Yeah,
you know
did
what
you
I
do
mean.
that? That was my next question. Did you ever try to do that?
Yeah, I can't do it.
I can.
Show, prove it.
Bet you know that. Bring me a non-red
On
dye
TikTok.
number 3 cherry
Prove it.
stem, and I will
Freaking
do it.
prove it.
Did you also unwrap Starbursts with like in your mouth?
Yeah, that I can do.
Bet you can.
Wink.
So many weird, dumb things that we did as a kid. They're like, if you can do this, it means you're a good kisser.
Yeah,
It's
or
like,
when you would take the inside of a bottle cap and you'd stretch it out and put it on your hand, and if it broke, like it was bad news or something.
that means you're a good kisser?
No, I just
Bad
you were
news,
talking
you're
about,
not a good kisser.
talking about dumb things that we did as kids.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Did you ever remember those? It was like a squeezy plastic bottle that had like, I thought it was a fruit drink, but it was mostly just sugar. They're blue or red or whatever. But on the top, they had like a little twist off thing. It kind of looked like a horseshoe that sat on top, and you click it off and then you could drink that plastic drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would always take those and put them like in my teeth.
Weirdo.
Like a mouth guard kind of thing. It's probably why I have to get a root canal
I was
next
gonna say
week.
it's probably where your tooth cracked.
Yeah, stay tuned on more for that as I host the show next week. Like, hi.
All right, tell me what else. What else is banned?
I will tell you what else is banned. Ensure
that.
original strawberry shake.
What?
Yes, you heard me. The nutritional drink that contains red dye number 3 to achieve its similar strawberry color. So we're seeing the theme with strawberries.
I don't need there to be color, just for the
Me-
record. In the same way that like when I get mint chip ice cream, because I do like mint chip ice cream, if you get it from like Haagen-Dazs, it's white.
Yeah, but sometimes it's fun to see that green that doesn't happen in nature.
Yeah, I don't need it. That's what I'm saying. I can just have the color of cream
Well,
because that's what like ice
Totally.
cream. I don't
Yep.
need you to color it
totally.
unless
Just
it's with chocolate.
sounded weird to hear it. Are you going to be able to live without Pez candies and corn candy?
What is a corn candy? I know
What is a corn candy?
Oh, you're talking about
Oh,
candy
I guess
corn.
it's called candy corn. I'd say that wrong.
That was the one. That was the one that I definitely knew was banned. Was candy corn? Like it was in candy corn.
Is there red in that?
I think it's the orange.
Oh,
Because it's orange, yellow, white.
I see.
And also, no one really likes them that much. Y'all say that you do, but you don't.
No,
You don't.
No, you don't.
Pez candy is a little bit sad, mostly for Brooklyn. But you know what? If it's going to mean she doesn't get cancer because she's not eating red dye number 4 or 3, how great.
That's true. Maraschino cherries, which you already mentioned.
Yeah.
Betty Crocker on the list again.
Betty Crocker, get your stuff together.
But now it's the fruit roll-ups, which I'm just going to go ahead and assume that normal fruit roll-ups are probably on that list, which would be a bummer. I'm like a gummy gel candy type person.
You had to guess. Fruit roll-ups, Gushers, Fruit by the Foot.
Yeah, all
It
of
all
those.
sounds like it would
I only
have
got
that
the
in-
top 10 most popular purchased items.
Got it.
The last one,
Oh my goodness. Is it going to hurt me?
Hostess,
No.
Swiss.
No.
I'm just kidding. It's like, what's red in a Swiss roll?
How many things are you going to take from me this week?
Your life, liberty, and your pursuit of happiness.
Oh my gosh.
If it's red. Hostess Twinkies, strawberry flavored. So no big loss there.
Makes sense.
I don't think I've ever had
Does
strawberry
anybody
flavored Twinkie.
does anybody actually eat Twinkies?
Let's talk about it. Twinkies are kind of not great.
No.
The filling to cake ratio is wrong.
Listen, the only good thing from either Hostess or Little Debbie's is the Swiss rolls or the ho-hos, respectively.
Yeah, whatever they are from whomever they are.
I think it's actually reversed. But those are the best because it's a thin piece of cake that's then rolled in all the cream. So it's on every single bite. And then you have the chocolate on the outside.
Yep.
Nothing else is that good. Not ding dongs, not Hostess cupcakes, not Twinkies, not snowballs, none of them.
Yeah.
So like, does anybody actually eat Twinkies? Because all I know them.
Stop hitting your
Sorry,
microphone.
keep it right. Because all I know when I think about Twinkies, the first thing I think about is Zombieland and whatever his name is.
Yeah. Whose name escapes me right now? I'll think of it.
It is on the tip of my tongue.
Show me your tongue. Woody Harrelson. Oh my God, it worked.
I was like, it's there. That was hysterical.
What was the point of it, though? I don't remember. So you think of him.
Yeah, I think of him in Zombieland. That's it. Because I'm like, who else eats Twinkies?
Like, no better way to end that story. We can move on.
Yeah. Actually, I think the other person that eats Twinkies is the guy from The Walking Dead. Doesn't he also like them? The mean guy?
Negan?
Yeah. I was going to give spoilers. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. But
Isn't it funny
baseball bat with nails.
when a show is like 10 years old or less, it's like, hey, spoilers, you should have already seen it. But if it's like 40 years old, if it's like Star Wars, you're still like, hey, spoilers, some people haven't seen Star Wars.
Because it's still in the zeitgeist and it will be for a long time.
Yeah.
No one's necessarily going to go back and watch all The Walking Dead. It's not like people are like, it's not like Friends.
You might be, depending on what people say.
Yeah, but I watched up until that part and that's when I stopped watching.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Too much for me.
Well, let's move on from that story.
Sorry.
Bless you. Oh, man, you got stuff all over Woody Harrelson.
That was funny, babe.
Do you need a tissue?
You know, tissues are in here somewhere, but I think I'm okay.
All right. We'll see how that goes. We'll keep you up to speed on that. Let's get out of there. I mentioned to all of our New Zealand listeners
Oh
and
my gosh, I've been wondering what this is all day.
our new New Zealand friends over on the Ticks and the Talks and the Grams, etc. You just want me to hold your foot for this?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
This is a weird episode.
It's a weird, yeah.
Welcome, everyone.
That's because Kellie made it. Kellie came up with it. Here's what I need
Can't tell
to.
if that's a compliment
It's
or
it's
not.
the most complimentary compliment ever because honestly, everything that you've done in my life has made it better.
Aww. Everyone say, oh.
New Zealand, listen up. What? Why? Just
Why what?
why?
New Zealand.
That's all I have to say because they know. They know what I'm
Do
talking
they know?
about. Look,
I
the
don't know.
land of hobbits, beautiful green scenery. Number 2 only to Australia, constantly living in its shadow. Why are so many people having cockroaches burrow and bury into their ears?
Oh my gosh, did it happen again?
Not only did it happen
But the first time wasn't
again,
in New Zealand. The first time was
No, it wasn't. It was somewhere else. But that information escapes me very
China
quickly.
or
Here,
something like
it's
that.
on the tip of my tongue.
China.
China, sure.
I don't know.
Could be. But
It
here's the
doesn't
deal.
work that way, I guess.
So the ACC, which is the Accident Compensation Corporation, sounds very, very official, in New Zealand has reported over 326, I guess it's literally 326, claims related to cockroach incidents.
No.
Resulting in over $500,000 in medical costs
No.
since in the last 5 years, since 2019.
Nor.
Over 300. So these are cockroaches that are mostly entering through, you
Ears.
guessed it, ears. Now, how many spiders do people eat in a year?
They say 7, but I don't know if that's true.
I think that's a lifetime. I think actually it's all wrong. So my question is like, how many cockroaches should we expect to be inside of our ears in a lifetime? If you're in New
None.
Zealand, seems pretty statistically viable.
I'm going to put it out there on the table, on the record, that I am not against wearing like
Ear protection?
earplugs
Would you do that at night?
when I sleep. I like to have my ears covered. I don't know if you noticed this about me, but
You like
I like
burrow
to burrow.
in. Yeah,
number
you're-
one. I am a cockroach. Not really.
Oh, since you said it.
It's cockroach. I always say cockroach.
Cockroach.
Cockroach. I don't know why, but cockroach. I like to cover my head, and it is very important to me that when I go to sleep, I like all of my hair up and behind me, but I will pull the sheet up to cover my ear because I don't want any spiders or anything crawling in there. What happens after I fall asleep, I don't know, but going to bed, that is important to me.
I had one AirPod in my ear for 4 hours this morning.
Crazy boy.
Yeah. but it's because I take this seriously. I already read the article. I knew what I was doing.
Sure.
This kind of grossed me out, though, as I was reading. They're like, don't worry. The eardrum typically is the thing that will keep them from, quote, getting any further into your head.
Like to your brain.
Yeah, like to your brain. Anyway, so that's gross. Also, they talk about if you do have that problem, seek medical attention. Don't put water in your ear because it will just irritate the cockroach and make it, as one person said, absolutely unbearable. But you can put, let's see, vegetable oil, which will halt the movement, probably kill the cockroach, I assume, and then get yourself to the doctor. So New Zealand, this is a public service announcement.
How long do you think it takes you to notice that you have something in your ear?
I would say pretty much immediately.
Wouldn't you freak out?
Yeah, and where's it going to go? How far can you get in before you hit the eardrum? Because I've put a Q-tip pretty far.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, well...
I mean, at least we know about vegetable oil. That's like a good thing. Pour some vegetable oil in your ear, but also...
Gross. Yeah, so...
Sorry to everyone out there who's also having the same reaction I am, where you're like touching your ears and you're like really grossed out because the idea of having something in your ears is freaking you out.
Yeah, and I like Australia. I've been there, but with the spiders in Australia and the cockroaches in New Zealand, which I'm talking about the actual insect, not the people, you seem very lovely. It seems like a part of the world that's a little bit trepidatious to travel to.
However, I would gladly go there if you would accept us.
Do you have room for our podcasting equipment?
I've never been to Australia or to New Zealand, and I would like to go to both.
We'll be there,
Minus
but we
the
will.
Spiders
We will bring ear
the
protection
cockroaches.
and Raid. I think is what you call spider spray. I don't know if that's what it's called out there. But
I
that's
don't know,
what it's
but we'll
called
figure it out.
in America. Anyway, one good thing in this season, we've kind of stopped because the temperatures and the fires, but it's been soup season for a long time.
Soup season.
Season of soup.
Yeah.
That's what we sing
You're
every time. Nope, first time, never had a lesson. That was pretty impressive.
Speak for yourself.
You've been singing soup season just by yourself?
No.
Without me? Tell me, what? Give me just a rundown of your favorite soups that you've made at home.
My favorite soup is, right now, the name of it is Marry Me Chicken Soup.
There's got to be a better name for it, but yes.
I don't know, but I think it's because it's based off Marry Me Chicken. But it is truly delicious. Parsnip, celery, carrots, onions, chicken, sun-dried tomatoes, cream, chicken broth.
It is so good.
I feel like I'm missing something. And some pepper.
Do you reduce it down with something?
You cook it all the way down. Oh, and tomato paste.
Is it like a white wine
and chunky
in there
potatoes. Oh, yeah. So white wine reduction. And then at the end, you add some chili pepper flakes on top. Perfection. Truly. And you have the smallest little noodles that you put in there.
Tiny little noodles.
And if you eat it with like one of those, not a soup spoon, but what are those?
It's like a miso
ramen,
soup
miso soup
spoon,
spoons. Makes it so much better. I'm here to tell you, it is the best.
Freaking awesome, except for the parsnip, which is a little too vibrant for my palate.
But it's good for you.
Yeah. I would opt out and switch with like a sweet potato or a potato or
But
something.
I'm not gonna.
Because I like the starchiness of it. Yeah, it's
parsnips are good for
but it's freaking good. And it's a good thing that we've learned how to create our own soups because some of these soup people are going a little crazy.
Really? Well, I can't wait to hear about it, but I also need to say, and tomato soup has been Brooklyn's favorite.
That's true.
Dipped with some grilled cheese dipped inside.
That I can do. Tomatoes and tomato soup on its own, not my favorite thing. I'm not a big tea guy.
Yeah, I know.
The big, you're
a big tea guy.
The royalty,
you like tea,
the tomato.
On the BLT, yeah.
Oh, BLTs? I'm sure we've talked about it.
So good.
Crystal will have to tell me when she makes it there. BLTs are trash. They're a sandwich that's only has sides. There's no like meat. There's no source of protein.
I like BLTs, especially when you add some avocado onto it. It's just
I like BLTs.
Something else that I've said, like, yeah, I won't eat it. Or I've just been like, I won't have it because I know you don't like it. But I like BLT. I'm coming out. I like BLTs.
Et tu brute.
But add avocado.
Yeah, or if you really want to go crazy, add a patty to it, and then it's awesome.
Then it's a club.
Then it's a sandwich. Period.
It's okay. Agree to disagree, my love.
This isn't even unpopular opinions.
No, it's not.
We can't. We got to move on. Let me tell you what's happened with soup.
Okay, I'm ready.
Because everyone comes to Hardly Working for their hard-hitting soup news. But Progresso Soup Drops is what's the new rage. Progresso is offering a chicken noodle hard candy. And they're positioning it as soup you can suck on. That is literally their catchphrase.
New choice.
And I think of it like grandma's always going to have one of those like Werther's original hard
those
candies.
Are delicious.
Yeah.
Butterscotch.
But you know
perfection.
what? Also, side
The
note,
coffee ones are good too.
all of these old people eating hard candies. I'm not 100 and my teeth are like broken from not eating hard candies. How do they do it?
They suck on them.
Say
Yes,
it
that is
again.
what she said. But
I was like, say it slower.
but I think that's the difference. They don't eat as much because they would just suck on hard candy.
I think
They're not chewing on it. They're
Yeah.
literally trying to savor the flavor as long as they can. Because it's probably the one candy that they had all day. They didn't get 20 million snacks or a snack cart.
I feel personally attacked in this moment.
You should.
I don't know why. So you think it's a good thing? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna,
But not
I'm
the
gonna get
soup
you
candy. I don't
No,
want
that's
soup
what I mean.
candy.
You think soup candy is a good
No,
idea?
that sounds absolutely disgusting.
But if old people like their
no,
one thing of candy,
give
why
me Werther's and I will do. That's fine with me.
you don't want a little noodle in there?
Ew, are there noodles in there?
It's a soup.
Or yes, but sometimes when they say that, they've like pureed it all and then they
Look, it is a chicken noodle hard candy.
Show me-
even if it's
show me a
pureed.
picture.
Even if it's pureed,
Give me
it's
the
still
give me
in
the taste
there.
test. I know you have them. Just kidding, you don't.
Oh my gosh! But if you want to send us some, let me know. I'll tell you where to send them. This is what
Can you
they
not
look
get them
like,
here?
and they look freaking gross. It doesn't help that they put it in a soup bowl for the promo photo. It's so gross.
It looks like a cough drop,
With noodles,
but like a muddy one. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to say it better.
you know what it looks
It's like a caramel cough drop.
I got it. It doesn't look. It's as if you took chicken noodle soup
You
and
froze it.
and you instead of pureeing it, you just use the pulse setting. You're like, zzz, zzz.
And then you froze it in like
Yeah. You're
like an ice cube tray, and then you like dipped it in something else to give it like a shine and to make it smooth.
I think that's exactly what they did. But look, if you're a fan of the chunky version of soups,
This is
you
gross.
might like this hard candy.
But that is something that you're supposed to suck on. That's something that you're supposed to like throw into a pot of water and then it like cooks and makes soup.
No, it's not a bouillabaisse. What are they called?
Bouillon.
It's not a beef bouillon. It's not something you add water to. I mean, theoretically, you probably, if you had enough of them, you could probably boil them down for a very gross soup. The inside of your pot, though, would be candy coated.
Listen, I know our next hardly working feast is going to be those
God.
with the what's that liqueur?
The Eggo waffle
Eggo
brunch in a
waffles
jar.
brunch in a jar. If we ever do a meet and greet, those are the things that we'll offer you.
Can you imagine? Hey, come on down. We'll get to say hi. We have refreshments. We have the brunch in a jar and the soup candies.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be other things that I'll remember and look up, but
Who knows?
all of the things that have been banned with red dye number 3.
I
I'm
will
just
tell you-
kidding. I won't do that to you.
All the Twinkies, all of the
ew,
Betty Crocker
no.
recipes. Well, I'll
Gross.
tell you what, my job today is done because Kellie has
Unpapa
curated
pins.
all of the Unpapa pins.
It is Unpapa pin time.
Hit me with it.
Okay, the first one you took down off of Instagram and TikTok.
I just thought it shouldn't have been the first one.
Digimon is better than Pokemon.
I mean, it is blatantly and patently untrue.
A lot of people agreed with you. I don't have the numbers because you took it down. Like I said, rude. Just kidding.
Sorry.
But a lot of people agreed that Pokemon is better. But here's what I'll say. I think that Digimon is underrated and undervalued. I love Digimon so much. The first group of kids, when they switched it up after that, I didn't particularly like it.
First group of kids.
Yes.
I can't even say that I've seen an episode of this.
I've watched like the
Which I guess
entirety
is
of the
not
season.
shocking.
I really liked Digimon. Like really liked Digimon. Digital monsters. Yeah,
Digital
I love.
fighting champions.
I really liked Digimon.
I remember the commercial. All I know is it was just a knockoff. At least in America, we perceived it as a knockoff of Pokemon.
And I understand that. And I'm a Pokemon fan. Our kid loves Pokemon. You love Pokemon. We
yeah, just
like
from
Pokemon.
a sheer staying
Pikachu.
power.
I 100% agree. I'm just here to say that I think Digimon is underrated.
Yeah,
Because
so
I do think it was a very good show, especially like I said, that first group of kids. So good.
are they monsters? What are the things? Are they robots? What is the Digimon? Is
They're
it?
digital monsters. They're kind of like Pokemon, but they're digital monsters instead. Same idea though. Truly.
You know, Pokemon is supposed to be like pocket monster. Pokemon.
That's why they're in a
And so
Pokeball.
for them to be like digital monster, Digimon. I mean, it just feels derivative to say
I
the
hear you.
least.
You should watch it. It was a good season.
I will tell you right now, there's
You
a
won't.
0% chance that I'm going to watch Digimon.
But they truly, for me, it was like that one group of kids, and then after they made it different,
Oh, you were with the lame kids, huh? Oh, I thought you meant your social circle. I'm so sorry. I really didn't realize what you're saying. Go on.
no, I need some compliments. If you want me to go on.
Your hair today.
Rude.
I will tell you this, Cal. I genuinely did that on accident.
Oh, sure you did.
But
we'll go into
I know the
Crumble
musical
after
theater
this.
kids that you hung out with.
Yeah, they were so fun.
And
So
they
great.
all loved Digimon.
No, they didn't. This was like
Digimon.
in middle school. Anywho, tacos are better than burritos.
Also, patently untrue.
You like burritos more?
Look, what's the difference between a taco and a burrito? It's like
Less.
shape.
Less.
It's the same ingredients. In fact, you probably get more in a burrito than you do a taco.
Yes.
And the medium in which the ingredients get to your mouth hole is more conducive and convenient in a burrito than a taco. If you take a bite of a taco, especially if it's a hard taco, oh boy, I don't know
Especially if it's a
what
hard
happened there.
taco.
Especially if it's a hard taco, it's gonna get all over the place. And while it is fun to mop that up, there's just no real way to convince a rational, sane person that a taco is a better way to eat those ingredients than a burrito.
Well, 66% of our family, I don't know what to call them, of you guys, of our fan
Hardly
base,
workers.
of the HW crew,
Okay.
66% of the HW crew disagreed with you and said that
How dare
tacos
you.
are better than burritos. And you know what? I'm somewhere in the middle.
You can't do that.
Listen, I think burritos are great because I agree with you. I think that there's more stuff there's more acceptable things you can put in a burrito. Like I could put, listen, hear me. Truly, I could think
You
about
can put anything in it, really.
But think about it. You have the base of the burrito. You could do nacho cheese. You could do refried beans. You could do rice. All of that is like truly acceptable in burrito. And then you do like your proteins and your vegetables and all of those things, right? A taco, normally you're not going to find that stuff. A taco, you're going to find protein and then like your topping and maybe some cheese, whatever that is. But I think if you're looking to eat a lot, tacos is the best way because you can have a variety. You're not set to like whatever the one large burrito you got. But I am a burrito fan.
That is true. And I want to give a shout out to this lady who seems to do some gardening and then make late night snacks. And the other day she was getting a tortilla as the base of a dessert creation concoction. And it looked friggin' awesome. I watch her videos almost daily to see what snacks I shouldn't eat, but they're so approachable that I think maybe I will eat them. I don't know her name.
Do you have an example?
We've watched them when she's like, oh, here's a great example. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome. I need context.
Cinnamon rolls in the waffle maker.
Oh my gosh.
Insert ice cream into the waffle maker. Make an ice cream sandwich out of cinnamon rolls
Oh
as a
my gosh.
waffle.
How much
with
gardening
whatever
has
else,
she done?
whatever else she puts on, if it's whipped cream, caramel, chocolate, I don't remember. But
Wowza.
like, it's so satisfying.
So you like burritos because you can put more things in there.
I was just thinking about your point of putting things in things, which I'm always thinking about. But I do agree that you can put more in a burrito than a taco. It's just a matter of, are you okay?
I'm fine. You're right. Okay, next. Are you ready?
Yes.
Not every argument needs to be resolved.
100% agree on this.
Okay.
I also think that not every argument can be resolved.
Okay.
Are we talking about the context of like a relationship or just in general?
I mean, I think when I put this one up initially, I thought about in terms of a relationship, but honestly, it's probably just in general. I mean, I agree. I don't think every argument needs to be resolved. I don't think every argument can be resolved. And sometimes I think it's more of like, can you agree to disagree and then move on? Or is it the hill you want to die on? You get to choose. But
yeah, it's almost always not the hill I want to die on, which
Yeah.
is something I learned from my mom, which is great.
and you and I talk about this a lot.
I think I was
knew you
about to
went.
say
I
what
saw
you're
your
going to
hand go,
say.
"Ooh." We talk about this a lot, and it's something that we kind of live by of is whatever the thing is it right versus wrong? Or is it just not my preference? Because if it's not my preference, it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Like to me, if it's wrong, if you're hurting someone, if you're, whether that's physically, emotionally, or verbally, like it's
That's
wrong.
wrong.
And then
And
I can
so
step
it's
in and
clear.
be like, you're wrong. But if it's just not my preference, because I don't particularly like that you, I don't know, don't like Twinkies
Yeah. This
or don't like
stemmed-
tacos.
This stemmed from, for me, a story about this monk who was passing away, and he was in his 80s, and most of the monks, I think it was a Tibetan monk, it's really important, like their last words. And this guy, his last words as he passed away were, "It took me almost 83 years to realize that most things are none of my business." And when I realized that, it really reframed the way that I perceive not only conflict, like that I'm going through, but conflict or whatever problems I see people close to me going through. And I had to reprogram our church upbringing
Yeah.
mindset, which is there's right and there's wrong and there is no gray, and realize that life happens in the gray. So we could love people better and frankly have a better relationship by looking at it through the prism that you talked about, which was, is this a matter of right and wrong? or is it just not my preference? And 90% of the time, it's just not my preference.
Yeah.
In which case, you can move on. So yeah, I don't think that every argument needs to be solved. I will say this though. If you're in a situation where every argument or most arguments tend to devolve down into the same problem, it doesn't matter where it started, but it always ends with the same conflict, that's probably the thing that needs to get resolved, not whatever took you back to that. Does that make sense?
Say it one more again with people in the back.
For people in the back, if for some reason, like if you're in a relationship and the conflict, it doesn't matter what started it. You picked up the kid late. You didn't go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
The laundry's not done. Anything that's that, but spirals into the problem that it seems to always be, you always do this. You never do that. You said you were going, whatever it is. If it always devolves down into that, that's the problem that needs to get solved.
That is true.
Not the laundry and stuff.
Yeah. All the other stuff doesn't matter. It's the big ones. Yeah. Well, 75% of voters agreed with you.
Yeah, we're back, baby. And I brought my burrito.
Oh my gosh.
Trust me.
Next up.
Hit me
this
with
is
it.
maybe controversial.
Wow. And you said that correctly.
I know. Shut it. Miracle. What? Social media is more detrimental than beneficial to mental health, and people should limit their usage significantly.
You know, my sister texted me about this one, and she essentially was like, I don't think social media is bad, but I think what happens and how people use it makes it bad. And I think that is kind of the crux of it for me. I do at times long for times before social media, but also like there's just some things that social media has given us the opportunity to do, see, have that we couldn't have done without it. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It's bad for my mental health though.
Yeah, it's interesting because we technically got a reprieve from it for, 24 hours when they banned TikToks. I think that's what most people do. And they have like that muscle memory that goes to TikTok. It's an interesting thing to not have it for that amount of time. But the way I feel about this is different than what a lot of our people said. Is I don't think social media is the problem. I think our mental health is the problem. And I think it's our responsibility to take care of our mental health, whether that's getting in therapy, whether that's setting up good and healthy boundaries. It doesn't really matter. It's individual to you. And so I actually think that social media is a great tool. I think it helps you connect with people all around the world that either share your values or you can have like a healthy discussion with. I think it brings you into the news. I think it introduces you to things and ideas and experiences that maybe you wouldn't have just living in your city. We are lucky that we live in Los Angeles, where you have access to tons and tons of stuff. But think about people that live in, no offense, some of the flyover states that just don't have the access. Social media has allowed them to have access to some of those things.
Yeah.
But I do think it is the amount of usage that you choose to do and the lack of taking care of your mental health that does make social media detrimental. But you could say the same thing about alcohol, about drugs, about TV, about anything. You know what I mean?
I think it's because it's up to every single person to have enough self-control and boundaries to navigate those things. Everything you just listed, including social media. And I mean, there's a reason why there's a term called doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Not because one person came up with it, because we've all done it.
Yeah.
And actually much like things like alcohol, like you mentioned, at some point it goes from being the solution to the problem itself.
Yeah.
Like scrolling endlessly or even watching the news endlessly is the solution for the problem you were looking to solve until somehow it becomes something that's not. Especially when like you're at the liberty of the algorithm. That's like, hey, here's a cute cat video. Bet you didn't know this new slime is available to drop. Oh, there's SP and Kellie. They're cute. We like them.
Yay.
Oh, here is an atrocity that I was not expecting to see right now. Oh, cute cat video.
Yeah.
Like it does such weird things to our brain.
Yeah. And I would say this, you said this before, like our brains weren't meant to take in this much bad information at one time. And I think that is when it does affect your mental health, is when you start to feel hopeless because so much bad is happening that maybe you wouldn't have heard about 20, 30 years ago because you would just get it whenever the news showed it. What I do think social media does that I think is detrimental is I think that it causes people to have shorter and shorter attention spans.
100%.
Which is hard for me as someone who likes to have conversations and likes to be invested in something for a long time. I watch TV like no one else, but I will commit to the full show length.
Yeah,
I'm not going to jump around to different things. And I unfortunately think that social media does do that to us and has made us have a shorter attention span, which I hope doesn't bleed into like real life, but I hope that it actually,
I think it does.
yeah, but I mean, like, I don't want people to, to only be able to focus on one thing for such long, like a short period of time. I hope people can commit to things and stick to them.
Yeah, here's my prediction for like 50-ish years from now. There will be no movies out in theaters. Most of the content we ingest will be all short form content. The days of the 90-minute movie or 2.5-hour end game type movies are over. They'll still happen, but they'll be big events. Kind of like when we go to see live theater. Like you do it occasionally when it's special and when it's like it makes sense to do it. But most things I think will continue to scale down until the neural link that Elon installs in our brains just gives us all of the entertainment.
I'm not installing that in my
one
brain.
Second. No, me neither. But they have done that to monkeys and it works. Anyway, it's a topic for another day. But yeah, I do think the attention span of people, of all of us, honestly, I'll scroll on TikTok and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is hysterical. Kelly will love it. And I'll send it to you, not even finish it. And I'll be like, I'll watch that later. And then we watch them later and I usually just fall asleep.
Yeah, that's true.
Like my attention span is short. I remember when Vine came out, I was like 6 seconds. And I was like, it's kind of cool. You have to try to figure out a way to be funny or informative in 6 seconds, which I never did. Never got on there. But I was like, if the 6-second attention span is all we have, like, no wonder people are only reading headlines of articles.
Makes sense. I'm not that person. I'm a completionist. I like to read the book all the way through.
Yeah, you do.
Finish a thing all the way through. Unless it's like hurting me or affecting me, in which case I won't. But I do have a heart. You know that while I do love TikTok and I do love scrolling, and I can be a doom scroller for sure, or get caught doom scrolling is what it's called. I do have a problem that people's attention spans are too short.
How often do you get that lady who's like, hey, seems like you've been scrolling for too long?
Not very often.
Really? Mm-hmm. I get her a lot.
Yeah, my content changes depending on the day, but for the most part includes Taylor Swift and then like emotional videos and procedural things. Like I've watched, I don't know how many movies or TV show episodes on TikTok because I've just gotten the pieces of them.
Yeah, you get procedurals, cat videos, Taylor Swift, and that one dude who's like, here's your fire update for today on Tuesday.
Just you, yeah. And then Aaron
that guy's
Parnas.
obnoxious. Who?
Aaron Parnas.
Agatha Harkness? What'd you say?
No, I did love that show. That was a good show too.
Yeah, you left her out.
Yeah, I did. He's the guy that kind of does what you do, but for the news.
For like everything.
For like everything.
Yeah.
People are also telling him that he looks tired.
He does.
He's doing the Lord's work.
Too much work and not enough humor. I think I always need a little bit of humor.
And that's okay. We're here for it.
Yeah, we are. You got more?
77% of
what was the question?
The NW crew.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
That social media is more detrimental to your mental health.
Okay.
It's detrimental.
Social media is detrimental
than beneficial. 77% of the, what did I say, HW crew?
Sure.
I have no idea, said that they agree with that. So they were on the opposite end of where we are. They were saying that it is detrimental. Oh, no, I guess they're on the same.
That is what we're saying.
So that it is detrimental. Well, I said it. I don't think it's detrimental. I said not to our mental health. I think that that's our own responsibility.
Oh, yeah. Well, but I also agree that it is detrimental to our mental health.
Yeah,
but it's our responsibility to figure it out.
Yeah, I have one more.
Okay, hit me with it.
The very last one is being in love with someone isn't the only reason to get married / start a family with someone.
Wow. Do you have thoughts on this? This is the first time I've read this one.
Yeah, being in love with someone isn't the only reason to get married. Yeah, I do. I think that is true. I think there's more things to think about than...
Like what?
Well, one of the other unpopular opinions I didn't put up this week was, do you think that two people with different political views can be in a relationship together? I think that's a big one. I think political views, I think how people handle their money, their financial stability and also their financial prowess, I guess is an important thing. I think you can love somebody but not like the decisions they make in life or not like the trajectory they're on. Think about all the people that have been in love with addicts in the past. Just because you love someone doesn't mean that you should shackle your life to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
With a government document that says we're married or with a child that you then have to share for the rest of your life. So that's where I stand.
What was the show that we were watching? It's not Dev Patel. He's a comedian and like he was taking his parents around like Mexico to check out retirement homes.
The last name is Patel.
It's Patel. I can't remember his first name right now.
Life with the Patels.
Something like that.
Raj.
Might be Raj. I think it is Raj Patel. Let's go with Raj Patel. He was talking about this in one of the documentaries or series that we were watching. This was a couple of years ago, but he was talking to some other Patels in India who had been arranged whose marriages have been arranged. I don't know how to say that. And they were talking about like love, like we love each other, but like we we hardly even knew each other when we got married, and marriage isn't all about love. And of course,
true.
we all know that it's not all about attraction, all about that kind of stuff. But it is really weird to think that that wouldn't be the start of it, or the thing that instigates the marriage or whatever. When I heard you read that, I was like, is it good to get married because it makes sense financially? Is it good to get married? Actually, I saw some people on TikTok, 2 friends getting legally married.
A lavender marriage.
What is it called?
A lavender marriage.
Tell me about that.
That was popular in the 50s, I think.
What, in the 50s?
This idea of lavender marriages.
Thanks, 50s.
50s and maybe 60s. But someone that was LGBTQIA, which that whole phrase didn't quite exist back then, would marry either somebody else that was that, or somebody else to cover themselves. They'd be protected.
And then I have like a consensual, non-sexual relationship.
Mm-hmm. And kind of the cover, the protection of like, we're married, we're together, and we're maybe going to hang out with this other couple.
Isn't it funny? They used to call these people, sorry, I had to phrase this well. In Hollywood in those days, they would call people in that community like, oh, he's a lifelong bachelor. Like that's what they would say, rather than just like, he's a gay man.
Yeah. I mean, was scary to be that, because you never understood what that meant.
For your
and
career,
I would say, like, when I said it, I meant it before. I think we're coming back around to it, not to get too political, but hey, this is who we are. Like, we're kind of there again with the president of the United States saying that there are only 2 genders, male and female. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, like I don't think that we're far away from people being scared and doing that again, and coming back around, those lavender marriages.
I don't think lavender marriages are a bad idea. I think that getting married, I think that the government getting involved in marriage it's a weird line to draw. Like, where else are we like, we need to get permission or a signed document to do something from the government? Passports,
IDs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Driving.
Like literally identifying who you are. This proves that you're a citizen, but like prove that you're married. Like, I get that there's like tax implications and stuff like that, but it is weird to get the government involved in any of the personal lives of the citizens.
Yeah.
So I do think with stuff like lavender marriages, hey, if you don't want to get married, or like,
it only applies to people a part of the LGBTQI community getting married to have a covering. You're talking about, but you were, I think, maybe getting at 2 friends that got married.
Oh, let me get back to that. Thank you. No, it wasn't friends. It was an arranged marriage in India.
Oh, yes.
And it was like, we're at our 50th anniversary or something like that. And I was like, wow, I guess you can make it happen. I was married before and I could not make it happen. And that was a better decision for me.
Yes.
But some people can. Some people can get married without love being the thing that keeps it going.
Yeah, but I think that's also a part of your culture and what you're taught as well. You talk about arranged marriage, but both parties come into it with the understanding that this is beneficial for families. And so we're going to do what we can to make it work, or these are the set like appropriate things of like how we live and what the man does, what the woman does, or whatever within those arranged
like normative things.
Yeah, within those arranged marriages. But I do think that you can find love and fall in love, like, but both parties have to be willing.
Oh,
but
for
I
sure.
think that a relationship has to be more than just I love you.
Of course.
Because I do love you with all my heart. But if you didn't treat me well, or help support the family financially, or were nice and kind to people, or we weren't on the same political wavelength, or you were just a spender or an addict and stuff, it'd be hard. And I don't think that we would have been a good fit if our personalities don't match. There's tons of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it a lot. I used to think any 2 people could make it happen if they were willing to. And that might be true for some people. I learned personally it was not true. And chemistry and fit and all of the things you just listed are really important parts. And the more of those you don't have in common, the harder it is to keep it going. Because then you realize, like, I just committed to every day of my life being spent with the person that I have complete opposing opinions on just about everything with.
Yeah. And I think also when you have a kid, it becomes more than about love as well. It becomes about this human life that you're now responsible for.
Yeah. So. I don't know how everyone voted on this. I'm going to assume that most people thought, can you phrase the unpopular opinion and then I'll take a guess?
Being in love with someone isn't the only reason to get married or start a family with someone.
I suppose people would agree that it's not the only reason, but it does make sense that it would be the main reason. But hearing it read out loud like that, I'm going to say that the majority agreed that it's not the only reason.
You'd be correct. 80% of people.
80%?
Which means that 40%.
Nope.
No, 20%. Who am I? It's because I was reading the amount of people.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. 20% of people said that, it's a good enough reason.
What? That it's a good enough reason? Oh,
Yeah.
20% said it should just be love.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't disagree with your thought on that. Like, sure.
Because
it
love
should be good
conquers all.
enough. Love exists, and I think love's one of the best things I've experienced in my entire life.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And also, yeah, I mean,
There's other things that are important.
not everyone knows this about me. You certainly do. I'm just not a fan of labels, and not in the committophobe way of like, let's just see where it goes. I just find that the more we label things, the less compassion and love we have for those things. The more we
Sure.
put things in a box that's like, this is what it is, the more we take away the agency of that thing to be more than just what we label it as.
Yeah.
A label is like, gosh, how could I even use this? You talked about gender earlier. I know it's a hot topic, but if you label me as man, and let's just say we stop there, you lose the fact that I'm also SP. I'm also your husband. I'm also our kid's dad. I'm also someone who's striving to get better. I'm also someone who has a heart to help people. But if you just label me with one thing, like man, or even SP, even a name, every time you label something, you limit something. I should be a speaker. Oh.
Scared the crap out of me.
It's still very windy out here.
All
and
right.
lawnmower-y. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not a big fan of labels because I think it limits what things are. But also, what were we talking about with love? I got scared with the lawnmower.
I know. Nothing. Just that 20% of people said, yeah, it's all you need.
Yeah, so I guess
Love
I
is
can see
all
that.
you need. Isn't that a Beatles song?
Who knows? I don't listen to the Beatles because that's kid music.
Call back. Anyway, those are all of the unpop opinions I have for us this week.
That's it. In fact, that's all we have.
I know.
for
What are you
this
looking
week.
forward to this week, SP?
That's a great question. I already had therapy, so nothing.
Lucky ducky.
Nothing? Yeah, no, I needed it. I
know.
needed to chat out these last few weeks. We got some gigs coming up, some local gigs here that they're actually virtual gigs.
Well, for you.
Yeah, well, I've got that. But other than that, it's kind of a laid back week. You're going to see a lot of us on TikTok and Instagram. I think we're going to go live at some point this week on TikTok. So if you're listening, if you're around, we may be doing that here this week, just getting some time to actually hang and chill and chat with everybody. But hopefully the fires should be dying down and the winds should be dying down after today. This is coming out on Wednesday. We're shooting it the day before, which is not normal, but hopefully everything will be chill. So I'm really looking forward to some peace, some serenity. I'm looking forward to the chats we do every night. Last night was a little weird. People got a little feisty,
okay.
and that's okay too. You can be who you are, but I'm looking forward to those. Other than that, though, it's pretty laid back week, and I'm very, very excited to have a little bit more margin than normal. What about you?
All the things you said, I think I'm just looking forward to resetting. I was really excited about the new year, and then the fires kind of hit, and it's just been more stressful than I think I was expecting it to be. I mean, we're already in the 21st of the month, which is in
Crazy.
21 days into the new year, which doesn't even feel like that happened. So I think I'm just looking forward to getting to some normalcy. I have a lot of work stuff I need to catch up on and do, unfortunately. So I have to do those things. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some time with just you. We talked about going on a date night this week.
It's been a minute.
Probably do that. And then I think we're actually celebrating Danielle's birthday this week, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really exciting. I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, shout out to Danielle. We love you.
Oh, yeah, Danielle. Hi, Junie.
But that's it. And that's all we got for this week's episode of Hardly Working. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're staying safe, not just physically, but also mentally. And until next week, we hope you spend most of your time hardly
Hardly
working.
working.
Wait for it. Love you.
Mean it.
Bye.